the flow of a breathwork session. Breathwork session is a beginning, a middle, and an end. And in the beginning, the person is getting comfortable with their own breathing. So if you say, now this is all about you and you learning your own breath work. Now you connect your inhale to your exhale and you get a rhythm going that you can stay with. And now lay down and start breathing. Okay, breathe a little faster. Now bring your knees up. Now bring your hands out a little further. Now put the blanket on. Now it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Let them find their own breathing rhythm. Even if you don't like it, they got instructions to find their own breathing rhythm, and it might not look like breathing at all. Again, we'll learn this. If you're working with a psychic sensitive person, breathing to them may not look like breathing at all to you, but to them, it may be more breathing than they've ever done. So we learn to calibrate our expectations and listen first to their body. So the beginning of a session is where they're getting used to and getting a rhythm going that they can stay with. The middle of the session is now they've got a rhythm going. Now energy is starting to move. And there could be any number of things happening here. Physically, there's feeling things that have been old injuries or tightness or pain. Emotionally, they could be mad, sad, glad, scared, combinations of those things going on. Mentally, they could be having memories, things from their childhood, things from inter-utero, things from other dimensions. I mean, I've seen it all, folks. No, so just be prepared to like, hey, what they're ready for is what's going to happen. And remember, they're there to teach you also. Okay, so you'll learn to breathe with that. And there's generally a cycle. The beginning starts out slow, then in the middle, the cycle will speed up, and there's a release. For some people, it's a dramatic release, and we like those, don't we? Yes, we've done something. Look at that dramatic release. But for most people, frankly, it's not. It's not a big woohoo. Wow. So the release is a lot more subtle, and it builds from maybe one session to the next. They get a little more safety, a little more safety, a little more safety. And so you calibrate this. And don't lay your expectations. Maybe it's you that need to release. So you should do some breathing, okay? There's all different categories of release. Stan Groff talks about those. We'll talk about those when we do our wet breath this week. Different categories of release that can go on. Sometimes there's several cycles that go on in a session. Person will have a release, and then, okay, I'm all done. No, wait a minute. You've just been here 5 minutes. Okay. You got an hour. Let's take this time. This is your time to be nurtured and to explore. So let's stay with the breathing some more. So they might have 2 or 3 cycles that go on during a session. Generally, 45 minutes to an hour. Some therapists, you get a 50-minute session with a person. That's it. You know, well, I've learned to get into it fast. If we're going to do breathing, we're going to get into it right away. And we're going to make sure you have time to chill out before you leave. You're not right in the middle of a huge release and, oh, time's up, out the door. In most of my practice, my sessions were 2 hours. Now I'm down to 60 to 90 minutes. We can accomplish what we need to in that time. Intention, communication, we're working together. Now, after the release Again, that can happen emotionally, psychologically, but also you notice the breathing is a lot easier. There's a lot less tension in the breathing mechanism. So then it's time for integration. I don't let people leave people get off the mat. Okay, oh, gotta go. No, sit down. There's one woman who was actually a therapist, and she became a trainer eventually. But she learned the hard way. She went out of a session too quickly and drove her car across the median. You know, it was a grass median, so she didn't get hurt, but it's like, I'm sure it didn't do her car any good. Yeah, so we wanted people grounded, safe in their body before they leave, even whether they think they're not, say, grounded or not.
If they don't have their own water, having some hydration there. If they don't bring their own, then I have water bottles there for them to take, to have some before they leave and then to take it at home.
Great. I have a water cooler in my office. Okay. So you've warned people that the energy is going to get intense in the middle, and then there'll be an integration, and you give time for that integration at the end. You let them know how they get in touch with you. You give them resources. If they're far along in their process, they might even be interested in learning about trainings. Travel to exotic places like Milwaukee. Books to read, maybe even exercises to do. One of my favorites is inner child work, because inner child is a metaphor for the emotional body. And on this planet, it's not lack of intelligence, it's not a lack of muscle strength. Mostly it's the crimp of the hose is in the emotional body. That's what we're dealing with. And so exercises that they get the idea. This is a self-healing technique. This is not like, okay, hold your breath till you come back in a week. Here's what you're to practice on. Take this home. Journal. 3 questions I give traditionally is, where are you, little, whoever it is, Fabiola, Steve, Jimmy, what are you feeling? What do you need and want? Those are my 3 standard questions. I ask people to connect with their inner child every day, ask those questions, do some connected breathing, maybe before you ask those questions. This can take like 5 minutes or less. Give them homework. No one leaves my office without homework, unless they've got school trauma, and then I call it something else. Healthful exercises. Comments?
At the beginning of the cycle, we said to find their own rhythm. Are we still giving the instruction to breathe with their mouth open a little bit deeper and faster than what's normal for them? That's typically how I start, and then whatever they do is what they do, but that is the instruction.
Not only is that the instruction, but I demonstrate, and then they do what they do, which very seldom looks like what I just did. But that's okay. That's all right. They get the idea. And again, if you're working, say, like with a psychic sensitive person, they might go into overwhelm very quickly with breathing through the mouth, faster breathing. Breathing through the nose may be more comfortable for them, slowing down the breath. But that's the instruction. I give 2 instructions. After all of this week-long seminar and all of that, I end up with 2 instructions. Connect your inhale to the exhale. So keep a connected rhythm going and adjust so that you can keep a flow moving comfortably for you. If you're over breathing and breathing way too fast, you'll check out. Won't be helpful. If you're snoozing and breathing too slow, no. 2 instructions: connect your inhale to your exhale and keep a rhythm going. Adjust your rhythm so that it's right for you.
Do you suggest people slow down if it seems like they're getting
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, if a person is breathing like this, they're going to go into tetany, and you're pretty soon you'll be like a fracture. This is what tetany looks like. It's not dangerous. You know, it looks weird. There's extremities will tense up. Now, I had one gentleman, he loved to go into tetany. I could give him instructions on not to do it, but he loved to do it because he was so out of his body that the only time he felt anything was pain. We helped work through that, but I'll tell you my little spiel since this is the basic session and we're learning basic things here. Here's my spiel that I've been using for years. If your body were a garden hose, breathing is you slower than it, you turn the spigot down so that the water is going through slower. We're going to do it differently. We're going to turn the spigot up a little bit so there's more going through the hose. Okay? And if there's any place that it's stuck in the hose, like there's rock or tar in the hose, temporarily it might bulge out a little bit, like a Walt Disney cartoon. That's dating myself. So it'll bulge out a little bit. And then if you stay with it, whoosh, it'll flush out. And your body will feel much more alive and free. So that's a little suggestion that I give to people on the breathing. So in the session, you might get to the point where, oh, it's feeling hard. Just stay with the breath, stay with the breath, stay with the breath, and woo, let it release. And that tar and rock in the hose, it may be physical stuff like, oh, there's a little knee injury. Oh, I'm going to get a Charlie horse. Oh, I got to, just relax into areas that you've been holding in your body. Let yourself breathe with it. Or I'm starting to feel angry, feeling this is stupid. I'm paying good money. What a scam is this? Breathe with the feeling. Let yourself discover what it is that you think you're not getting that you want. Besides an immediate cure, Or your mind may go into all of its thoughts. Let's see. My office is about 6 blocks from McDonald's. Oh, I'm going to stop at McDonald's. It's called the Breathwork Munchies. Some people get very hungry after breathwork. I'm going to stop at McDonald's. Let's see, 2 Big Macs. That's what I want. It's like, no, just that's what your mind just said. Tell your mind you're going to be nurtured with your breath here right now. Don't get in a fight with it. You get in a fight with your mind. Or a spiritual blockage, feeling like angry at my partner that died. All right, so let's just breathe with that. Feel that connection to her spirit, his spirit. So I give that little spiel. Then when they're laying down, I might demonstrate breathing. And then when I say 2 things, remember 2 things. Connect the inhale to the exhale and keep the flow going. All right. Yay.